Alright guys, so recently there's been a lot of drama revolving around Call of Duty Mobile, and with that I've been getting asked a bunch of questions from you guys. Is it dying? Am I going to quit the game? Do I even see myself playing the game in the next few years? And to answer all of your questions, this is the video I'm going to be making, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and opinions of how I see the future playing out for COD Mobile. I know this is very different than the usual type of videos I make, but if you guys are a viewer who genuinely wants to see the game to continue to succeed, then I suggest watching as much as you can. I'll be going over what's to come to codm in the near future, what's been amazing about the game so far, and what they could potentially work on. So for starters, let's go ahead and start with all of the good things that COD Mobile has provided and has done to the community so far. Also, don't worry, I won't be biased whatsoever. I'll make sure to give my thoughts on how the game could also improve from its current state as well. This includes the current rank system, the lack of the meta change, because I know we've been playing with the US9 for a very long time now, and a few other small things that I'm going to be listing throughout this video. With that being said, if you guys don't know, just recently myself and a bunch of other creators had the opportunity to meet a bunch of the amazing developers over at Call of Duty Mobile. During this trip, we basically had the chance to ask any question we wanted, no matter if it was about the future of the game, what they plan on doing to improve some of the issues that you guys have been talking about for a very long time, and of course, what they plan on doing to make sure the game lasts for a very long time. And so, because we're going to be mentioning the good things about COD Mobile so far, let's go ahead and talk about the brand new mode that they're coming out with called DMZ. Now, before we continue, huge shout out to Call of Duty Mobile for allowing me to get early access gameplay of DMZ. Now, keep in mind, this is not a sponsored video. I just want to give credit where credit is due. DMZ is an extraction mode, which is a bit similar to Battle Royale, but not really. Essentially, in DMZ, you have to play super tactically because it focuses on getting the best loot, surviving, and then winning the game by killing other opponents. Once the game ends, you're able to continue progressing into other games with the same exact loot you had in the games before, just as long as you live. The more games you survive, the higher the chances of you collecting and keeping valuable items in which you guys can later on sell for better gear, better weapons, or even better score streaks. Whatever the game has available, you can basically buy. Without giving you guys too much information about DMZ, I can promise you guys one thing. And that one thing is, of course, that codm plans on focusing on this mode very heavily to make sure it is enjoyable for everybody and anybody. So that means we're going to be getting constant updates, constant changes, and constant new things to make sure the DMZ mode feels super fresh. I haven't had the chance to play it for too long, but I do think it's going to be a mode that I play in the future. Maybe not as much as MP, but I do want to test it out to see if I will enjoy it fully or not. Anyways, you guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about DMZ so far, and if you guys are excited, which is going to be leading up to our next set of things that we're going to be talking about that COD Mobile has been doing very well, and that is going to be optimization. Now, in my opinion, I genuinely believe that COD Mobile and maybe even PUBG have the best optimization when it comes down to mobile shooters. codm does run extremely well, even on mid-range devices, and even has smooth performance on 60 to 90 to even 120 FPS. And if you guys think about it, considering the amount of features and modes that COD Mobile has all in one app, it's surprisingly small when it comes down to downloading the app. Now, before you guys tear me up in the comments, let me explain. Call of Duty Mobile is one singular app, and it manages to hold a bunch of modes all in one. It has an entire zombies mode for itself, an entire multiplayer mode, which includes the best maps all across the entire Call of Duty franchise, an entire Battle Royale mode, which comes in third person and of course first person, which is a lot when it comes down to the maps as well. And as I mentioned earlier, it has an entire DMZ mode coming in, and remember, this is all you can do in one singular app. And so if you think about it, playing 4 different types of games in one game, if that makes sense, is pretty insane. But we can all agree that there can be some changes with these specific modes to improve them. Top of all these 4 modes, we also get a monthly set of updates and new items, which include seasonal events in which you guys can get free in-game awards, unique skins, which includes obviously the lucky draws and the battle passes, and of course a bunch of patch notes, in which we are going to be talking about later on into this video, because there are some things I have to say about that. Anyways, you guys, I know I can go ahead and talk about a bunch of other things that the COD Mobile team has been doing very well when it comes down to listening to us as a community, but I know what you guys are here for. You guys are here to see what I have to say in terms of what they can do to improve the game, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing, so let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is, of course, the rank system, and I'm not gonna lie, this is probably going to be a big portion of the video, and there's a reason as to why. A while back, a group of leakers that basically post early information about COD Mobile updates and what's to come came together, and they basically found some news about how there's a potential rank overhaul happening for codm. The rank overhaul would basically completely change the current rank system that we have, which means we'd get a new leaderboard system, probably some new in-game reward system, and it would basically make the rank leaderboards a thing to actually want to grind for and something that people value. Now, I think we can all agree that from the start of this game till now, grinding leaderboards and getting that #1 spot in the rank leaderboards has lost some of its value and importance. But with this potential and rumored rank overhaul, that would completely change things. I'm sure it is being talked about, and some ideas are being thrown around within the COD Mobile division in order to make sure that this is something that happens in the near future. Now, there were some things that the codm team has done recently to improve the rank system that we currently have, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, they basically added that top 5k milestone, and anybody that's top 5k in the leaderboards gets like a special badge and better matchmaking. But unfortunately, it is still too easy to get legendary in top 5k, to the point where people are getting 0 kills and managing to go from rookie to legendary with getting no kills whatsoever. Which takes us into another subtopic connected to the rank system, and that is of course skill-based matchmaking. Now, these two things kind of tie into each other, and the reason why is because if it's super duper easy to go from rookie to legendary without getting any kills, then you are basically bound to get certain players on your team that can't shoot back, that are somehow in legendary, which will cause you to lose. Now, I think we can all agree that there's been games in which you guys have been able to drop 30, 40, 50 kills, and then you guys have some teammates over there with like 2, 3, 4, 5 kills, and then you guys question, how did they get into legendary? And that's where, of course, the current rank system and the skill-based matchmaking comes into play. But don't worry, all these problems will be solved once the Call of Duty Mobile team finalizes a rank overhaul. And once they do, we won't have to deal with any of these problems. So in the meantime, I just think we have to wait and give it some time. Speaking of rank, let's go ahead and talk about the current meta. Now, before you guys tear me up in the comments once again, I am going to be very biased with this. The USS9 has been meta for almost an entire year. Yes, you guys heard that right. The same gun has been meta for an entire year, but I absolutely love it. Not only is it an SMG, but it's an SMG that can outgun every single gun out there, and you guys know how I am. I'm an aggressive player. I love going for kills. I love slaying out, so the USS9 fits all 3 of those categories. I will admit, I am getting a little bit bored of this weapon being played over and over again, but I also understand that there are people out there not as good, and there are people out there that are getting completely bored of this gun because of the fact that it's been meta for a year, which is why I'm talking about it. Now, to answer you guys' question, do I think a meta change should happen? Yes. Do I think it's a little bit odd that it hasn't? Yes. But hopefully during the next season, which is I think season 11, we finally get a huge mega nerf to USS9, and we can finally start experimenting with new weapons, because outside of the USS9, I think I've been seeing the Odin and the XM4 the most. Like I said earlier, I do apologize for being biased, but if the meta ends up being the same for the next few months, I personally wouldn't care. But for your guys' sake, I'm obviously going to speak about it. And speaking of the USS9 and the current meta, we actually have been getting a bunch of balance changes. But with these balance changes, because of how good the USS9 is and the Odin is and the XM4 is, all these guns that are getting buffed aren't really going to make a difference because of how good the USS9 is. So until we get a USS9 nerf, I guess those buffs won't really matter as much because of the fact that we're getting, you know, the same guns in the same rank games over and over again. Anyways, I think that's everything that we have to talk about for the rank system, at least. Let me see. We talked about how the rank system should change to prevent people from going from rookie to legendary so quickly. We talked about the skill-based matchmaking, which could get a little bit of a tweak. And we also talked about the current meta and how we should, you know, change the current meta, especially when it comes down to USS9, which once again, I really don't care for it because I love the USS9. You guys might hate me in the comments for that, but yeah, I think that's that. We talked about DMZ, which is a new mode that they're coming out with, and I guess this kind of leads into the other thing that we have to talk about, which is of course the competitive scene. Now, this is once again another hot topic, and the reason why is because if you guys don't know, in the 2025 codm Championship that just happened a few weeks back, a bunch of the Eastern players and teams were not able to participate due to the fact that they have a bunch of visa troubles. Now, because of these visa troubles, all that practice, all that time, and everything that they did preparing for this championship basically went to waste, and that fueled a lot of hate and resentment towards the championship event. Now, not to get super technical or too deep into it, but if you guys are smart enough, you guys will realize that this technically wasn't Activision's fault when it came down to the visa troubles. Anyways, that aside, with the fact that a bunch of teams did face a bunch of visa issues, people thought that the importance of this year's champs wasn't as high. But no matter what the case may be, I think we can all agree and give credit to Q9 for coming out as champion. So shout out to Q9 for winning the championship, and of course Uling for being the MVP. You guys definitely deserve it, especially with the fact that you guys have been working for this since like I think 2021, 2022. But yeah, anyways, enough yapping. I do believe that the competitive side of things does need a massive change, or at least some improvements to make sure every single party, whether that be the western side of the world or the eastern side of the world, to get involved. If the western side of the world does manage to get more tournaments to actually work for and more events, rather than just playing an entire year grinding for one event, which is of course the championship, and then losing, there is really nothing for us to gain. You guys got to remember, in the western side of the world, it is quite expensive, and we can't just play the game every single day with a little bit of a salary. And yes, I think we can all agree that the eastern side of the world is levels ahead of the western side of the world when it comes down to the competitive teams. And yes, I do agree that that is not going to change until a massive change is made, and if it isn't, then the western teams for codm are going to continue to plummet and not make any progress in the near future. With that being said, there is some good news. There were actually some Twitter posts being made after the championship, and a bunch of casters and players were talking about how the future was bright, and that the people that were leading these tournaments actually have big ideas and big plans for the future. So you never know, maybe there are some big things being made in the behind the scenes without us knowing, of course. So I guess all we can do now is wait and find out. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it. At least that's everything that I can come up with. We talked about everything that's been going super well, and everything that's been amazing with the codm team and developers, so shout out to them. And we also talked about the stuff that could improve to make sure the game that we all love playing, and the game that we all grew up playing for the last like 5-6 years, or as some people would say 6-7. That was kind of corny, but yeah, I think we can all agree that hopefully these changes are made, and only time can tell. I do think that we should continue to be patient with the Call of Duty team, continue to be patient with certain groups and teams that are working hard for this game. And no, I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm not being held at gunpoint to say this. These are my genuine thoughts. These are my genuine opinions. These are everything that I personally think can help the game improve to those that actually care for the game. You guys know where I'm coming from. And yeah, guys, not chat. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night whenever you guys are watching this. I appreciate you guys for tuning in this far, if you guys did. And yeah, let's hope that the future is bright for this game. codm, we love you. My community, I love you, and I'm sure you guys love everything that's happening so far and everything that's to come for this game. And I'll see you guys in the next one.